Good morning and welcome to Around the Globe on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. Russia rejects foreign troops and security guarantees for Ukraine. U.S. President rebrands Pentagon as Department of War. DR Congo records 15 deaths in fresh Ebola outbreak. Abia State's government sacks 6 officials for salary padding. Aneke releases total number of registered voters in Anambra State ahead of election. I am Aneke. Now to news in details. Russia has rejected any situation where foreign troops would be stationed in Ukraine to provide security guarantees. It follows a pledge by French President Emmanuel Macron that 26 Western allies had formally committed to deploying troops by land, sea or air to Ukraine the day after a ceasefire is agreed. After a summit of 35 countries dubbed the Coalition of the Willing, the French president said U.S. support would be finalized in the coming days. President Donald Trump recently indicated that U.S. backing could probably come in form of air support, and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky said he had spoken to the U.S. leader about maximum protection for Ukraine's skies. Meanwhile, the United States President Donald Trump will today sign an executive order to rename the Department of Defense to the Department of War. This is according to a White House official, a move that would put Mr. Trump's stamp on the government's biggest organization. The other would authorize Defense Secretary Mr. Pete Hegseth, the Defense Department and subordinate officials to use secondary titles such as Secretary of War, Department of War, and Deputy Secretary of War in official correspondence and public communications, according to White House fact sheet. The move will instruct the Defense Secretary Hegseth to recommend legislative and executive actions required to make the renaming permanent. In the meantime, U.S. Secretary of State Mr. Marco Rubio says his country will blow up foreign crime groups if needed, possibly in collaboration with other countries. Mr. Rubio said during a visit to Ecuador, he also announced that the U.S. will designate 2 of Ecuador's largest criminal gangs, Los Lobos and Los Choneros, as foreign terrorist organizations. The comments come days after U.S. forces carried out a strike on a boat in the Caribbean Sea. The White House said it killed 11 drug traffickers, though it did not release their identities. Also, there is a palpable sense of shock on the faces of people looking at the wreckage of a funicular crash in the Portuguese capital where 16 people died, but a 3-year-old German boy was among the lucky survivors. He was pulled from the carriage where his father reportedly died, and his mother was among the 20 other people who were injured. Nationals of Portugal, South Korea, Switzerland, Canada, Germany and Ukraine are believed to be among the dead, police say. It is still unclear what caused the crash. The capital's public transport operator, Cari, said all funiculars would be inspected and that it had launched an independent investigation. Now, bringing you stories from Africa, health authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have declared an outbreak of Ebola virus disease in Kasai province, where 28 suspected cases and 15 deaths, including 4 health workers, have been reported as of September 4, 2025. A statement by the World Health Organization, WHO, stated that the outbreak has affected the Bulape and Mekwa health zones in Kasai province, where health officials have been carrying out investigations after the cases and the deaths reported presented with symptoms including fever, vomiting, diarrhea, and hemorrhage. The outbreak comes at a time when much of Central and West Africa continues to grapple with overlapping health and humanitarian crises, including cholera outbreaks, malnutrition, and displacement. Still in Africa, a Zambian court has sentenced former Foreign Minister Joseph Malangi to 4 years in prison with hard labor for corruption. Malangi, who served under former President Edgar Lungu from 2018 to 2021, was arrested in the late 2021 for allegedly using embezzled state funds to acquire property, including 2 Bell 420 helicopters. The conviction marked a rare victory for state prosecutors in the southern African country, ranked among the world's most corrupt by Transparency International's 2024 Perception Index. The 60-year-old will serve 4 years imprisonment with hard labor, while his co-accused, Fredson Yamba, will serve 3 years. Yamba, former secretary to the Treasury, was accused of facilitating the transfer of more than $8 million to Zambia's mission in Turkey without justifying the expense. It was not immediately clear if the pair will appeal the ruling. They were the first top officials from Lungu's government to be arrested on graft charges after President Hakainde Hichilema took office. And this news broadcast is coming to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can follow us on all social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Now a quick look at major developments in the news. Russia rejects foreign troops as security guarantees for Ukraine. U.S. President brands Pentagon as Department of War. DR Congo records 15 deaths in fresh Ebola outbreak. Coming up shortly, Abia State government sacks 6 officials for salary pardon. Aneke releases total number of registered voters in Anambra State ahead of election. Please stay with us. You're still watching Round the Globe on Aneke TV. We'll now bring you stories from Nigeria. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, yesterday said the number of associations seeking in registration as political parties has risen to 171. INEC, in a statement by its National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Sam Olumekun, said the updated list has been published on the Commission's website and other official platforms. He added that the review committee set up by the Commission had completed its assessment of the applications and submitted recommendations for final consideration. The Commission urged applicants to be patient and avoid practices that could delay their approval. He, however, assured applicants of transparency and fairness. Under the Constitution and Electoral Act 2022, INEC registers political parties that meet strict requirements, including having a national headquarters in Abuja, a distinct name and logo, evidence of nationwide membership, and a constitution and manifesto consistent with democratic principles. In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has provided an update on the final registration of voters for Anambra governorship election. The Commission gave the update on Thursday after its weekly meeting. A statement made available to reporters after the meeting said that there were deliberations on the final register of voters for the governorship election. It said voter registration has been completed in the 326 wards across the state, and this happened between 8th to 20th July 2025. According to the electoral umpire, 168,187 citizens have registered as new voters. The Commission said it was already displayed the list of new registrants in all the wards for claims and objects as stipulated in the Electoral Act 2022. Still talking election, the Enugu State Independent Electoral Commission, NCEC, has released the timetable for local government election into 17 chairmanship and 260 councillorship positions in the state. The executive chairman of NCEC, Professor Christian Ngu, while releasing the timetable in Enugu, said that the local government election had been scheduled to hold on September 26, 2026. Professor Ngu noted that the timetable, which will be strictly followed as it had been officially gazetted by the state government, had commenced with publication of notice by election by NCEC on August 20, 2025. The Commission also set from November 27, 2025 to December 12, 2025 for political parties to submit information on the conduct of party primaries, specifying the time, venue, and date. The timetable noted that from January 23, 2026 to February 19, 2026, party primaries will be held, including the resolution of disputes arising from the primaries and the observation of the process by NCEC. It further disclosed that from March 25 to March 27, 2026, there will be screening of chairmanship candidates' credentials at the NSEC headquarters. It said that the last day for the submission of nomination forms, the NSEC 7 and NSEC 7A for chairmanship and councillorship elections respectively by political parties in accordance with Electoral Act 2022 would not be later than 180 days before the election. From electoral matters, we move to Abia State, where government there has approved the dismissal of 6 staff of the Ministry of Justice following their indictment in a salary padding scheme uncovered during an internal audit and administrative inquiry. According to the state government, they were found to have engaged in the manipulation of payroll systems, resulting in the unlawful receipt of excess salaries over a sustained period. This was signed by Eno Jerieze, the chairman, Abia State Civil Service Commission. Abia State government explained that the disciplinary action would follow a detailed investigation by the Abia State Civil Service Commission, which independently interrogated the officers, reviewed relevant financial records, and confirmed that they knowingly benefited from irregular salary payment to the detriment of the state. The statement, which said that indicted and dismissed officials would be handed over to appropriate law enforcement officers for prosecution, urged all civil servants and other stakeholders to maintain integrity and report suspected irregularities. Additionally, Governor Alex Otti has directed that the activities of some members of the Salary Committee be subjected to a separate probe to ensure full accountability. In the meantime, the Kaduna State Police Command has invited former governor of the state, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, and 7 members of the African Democratic Congress, ABC, for questioning over alleged criminal conspiracy, incitement of public disturbance, mischief, and causing grievous hurt. A police letter dated September 4, 2025, and signed by the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID Uzainu Abdullahi, directed the ADC state chairman to produce El-Rufai and the others at the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, on September 8. Meanwhile, former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai has accused the State Commissioner of Police of violating the Constitution. Malam El-Rufai said the summons sent to him was a dangerous descent into lawlessness by the state police. Now we move to Yobe State, where government has planned to establish 4 remand homes in some local government areas of the state to reduce overcrowding in the existing custodial and correctional centers. The State Commissioner for Sport, Social and Community Development, Mr. Bamasha Tima, who stated this, also said that the 4 additional remand homes and custodial center for child suspects who are awaiting trial would be established in Damaturu, Nguru, Gashua and Giadam towns. He noted that the Potiskum remand home was the only functional home in the state, as the ones in Nguru and Gashau were dilapidated. He added that the proposed remand homes would offer inmates access to education, vocational training, and other resources to help them become productive citizens upon release. Now we head over to the business news. Nigeria and China have pledged to deepen cooperation in the marine and blue economy sector, focusing on boosting port development and opening new markets for Nigerian aquaculture exports. This commitment was made during a meeting between the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, and Chinese Ambassador to Nigeria, Yu Duhai, at the ministry headquarters in Abuja. Mr. Oyetola highlighted Nigeria's vast maritime endowment, including 853 kilometers of coastline along the Atlantic Ocean and over 10,000 kilometers of inland waterways. He emphasized that Nigeria's maritime domain holds immense potential for shipping, port operations, fisheries, renewable ocean energy, marine tourism, and coastal infrastructure development. Also in business, the federal government has made tax identification compulsory for people getting involved in banking and allied services in the country. Consequently, all taxable Nigerians are to obtain a taxpayer identification when the new Tax Act comes into force in January 2026. The tax ID is contained in the provisions of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, Part 2, Section 4 of the legislation, which was recently signed by President Bola Tinubu. The Act, however, provides an allowance to suspend or deregister the tax ID if the holder ceases to undertake trade or business either temporarily or permanently. And they're still talking business. The Naira recorded its highest single-day gain against the dollar at the official foreign exchange market yesterday. Exchange data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed that it appreciated significantly to 1,514 naira 87 kobo on Thursday, up from 1,521 naira 46 kobo traded on Wednesday. This means that the naira strengthened by 6 naira 59 kobo against the dollar on a day-to-day basis to end the official trading week. According to reports, yesterday's gain is the highest uptrend of the countries in the last 3 days this week. Meanwhile, at the black market, the naira dropped to 1,539 naira per dollar, down from 1,533 traded the previous day. Accordingly, analysis of both foreign exchange markets indicated that the most populous country in Africa currently recorded mixed sentiments in the week under view. And heading to sports, Team Ekiti continued its impressive run at the ongoing National Youth Games in Asaba Delta State on Thursday, claiming gold in male basketball. Team Ekiti had edged past Team Lagos 19-18 in a thrilling basketball final. Both teams showcased determination, skill and composure, but the Ekiti squad demonstrated greater resilience to secure the gold in a closely contested match. Reacting to the victory, state basketball coach Adetayo Awojiri expressed pride in the players' performance. Still in sports, Lionel Messi scored twice for Argentina in emotional scenes in Buenos Aires on Thursday, while Uruguay, Colombia and Paraguay joined the reigning champions at next year's World Cup. With Argentina having already long booked their place in the tournament in North America, Messi struck in the 39th and 80th minutes in a 3-0 home win over Venezuela. Messi, who has won the Ballon d'Or 8 times, packed in front of an adoring crowd of 80,000 at the Mas Monumental Stadium in his last home qualifier for his country. The Argentine legend returned 39 during next year's World Cup, but despite his advanced years, he looks set to play another pivotal role as Lionel Scaloni's side defends their crown. In entertainment, famous Nigerian songstress Tiwa Savage has made a case for Tems after her name was excluded from Afrobeat's top 3 artists. The term Big Three is widely used to refer to the male trio Davido, Burna Boy and Wizkid, was celebrated as Nigeria's most dominant global musical exports. However, questioning the criteria used in selecting the Big Three in the industry, Tiwa argued that the narrative turns a blind eye to the outstanding achievement of leading women in the Afrobeat genre. Speaking in an interview with BBC Radio 1 Extra, she challenged the exclusionary labeling of female singers and insisted that Tems deserves top-tier recognition. And that's all on Round the Globe on Aneke TV. To end Round the Globe, here are the main points. Russia has rejected any situation where foreign troops would be stationed in Ukraine to provide security guarantees. U.S. President Donald Trump is to sign an executive order today to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War. We also told you that the Enugu State Police Command has confirmed that 10 persons died in 2 separate road accidents that occurred yesterday along the Ozala Four-Corner axis of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. To end the news, for breaking news and eyewitness report, please call 0703-043-7110. You can send a message across all our social media platforms on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I am Aneke. Thank you for joining us.
The Federal Capital Territory (FCT) is a monumental city of edifice strategically designed to showcase the aesthetic beauty of a natural ambience a land of opportunities often referred to as the center of unity. Abuja is the political hub of the nation, lying strategically at the center of Nigeria. It was officially designated as the capital in 1976, replacing Lagos, and formally became the seat of government in 1991. The decision to build Abuja was rooted in its central location, neutrality among Nigeria's diverse ethnic groups, and its vast land space, which made it perfect for expansion. Today, Abuja has grown into a well-planned, organized, and prestigious city that tells the story of Nigeria's unity and ambition. Early mornings in Abuja are alive with the buzzing sound of cars speeding through wide boulevards and flyovers. Porsche cars and executive luxury vehicles glide alongside long buses and motorcycles, painting a picture of a city where classes mix but remain distinct. It is a city where aristocrats, ruling elites, and key players of the capitalist industry share the same roads with artisans, traders, and ordinary Nigerians striving for daily survival. Yet, despite the aura of power, excellence, and wealth, Abuja is uniquely human. It is not unusual to see a minister of the Federal Republic or a high-ranking official standing in line at a shopping mall, waiting to buy one or two things like everyone else. That blend of prestige and simplicity is part of what makes Abuja truly alive. As the center of unity, Abuja is home to people from every corner of the nation, hosting over 5 major ethnic languages and countless cultural groups. Each carries its cultural emblem and beliefs, all interwoven into the city's cosmopolitan fabric. Added to this is Abuja's international status. Embassies from nearly every nation in the world stand tall within its borders, making it not just Nigeria's capital, but also a diplomatic hub where cultures, politics, and global relations converge. The city's uniqueness is greatly seen in its structures and landmarks. Its skyline boasts the impressive NNPC Towers, the Golden Domed National Mosque, the World Trade Center, the City Gate, and the imposing Federal Secretariat. The Central Bank of Nigeria rises as a symbol of economic authority, while the National Assembly complex represents democracy in action. Justice is anchored at the Supreme Court, and other high courts, and national pride gathers at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center, a hub for global summits and national dialogues. These monumental structures scattered across the city give Abuja its distinctive blend of power, beauty, and modernity. Abuja's districts are carefully planned and speak volumes of its identity. Maitama is mapped out as a residential haven for the wealthy, top politicians, and high-profile individuals. Asokoro is equally affluent, hosting ministers, governors, and ambassadors. Katampe Extension and Gazupe Estate are fast-rising luxury neighborhoods with scenic landscapes, while areas like Garki, Wuse, and Area 11 estates blend commercial activities with residential living. Each zone tells its own story, yet all are tied together by the city's larger vision of order and beauty. Infrastructure is one of Abuja's strongest assets. Unlike many cities that grew without planning, Abuja was designed with foresight. Its broad highways are lined with greenery. Its roundabouts are often adorned with fountains and sculptures, and its flyovers make navigation seamless. The city gate stands as a welcoming symbol of pride, while routes leading to Aso Rock Presidential Villa reflect the seat of Nigeria's authority. From the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, travelers from across the world step into a city that is both modern and distinctly Nigerian. What makes Abuja special is not only its structures but also its spirit. It is a city where wealth and influence meets.
The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles, such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, 042. Thank you for joining us today once again. You're watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Your cheerful start to the day. I'm Deborah Nwakaoba, coming to you live from our studio here in vibrant Enugu.
And I'm Uche Osai, wherever you are, at home, in your office, or in traffic. Thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful Friday morning. As always, we're here to refresh, inform, and motivate.
Yes, and it's Friday, September 5th, 2025, and we've got everything you need this morning from news, weather, trending stories, and that feel-good sunrise spirit to kickstart your day.
So, sip your tea or coffee. Enjoy the ride because the sunrise has begun.
Yes, and we will begin with our quote of the day, an inspiring, thoughtful word that is not only educative or encouraging, but also offers insight for us to keep being focused and motivated.
And right after that, we'll give you today's stories from our newspaper headlines. All the key updates you need will be served hot and tasty.
So our quote of today is coming from Mahatma Gandhi. And in his quote, he says, our greatest ability as humans is not to change the world, but to change ourselves. I repeat, he says, our greatest ability as humans is not to change the world, but to change ourselves. He is reminding us that real strength begins within, and many people want to fix the world or make others change, but the truth is that the only person we truly have to control is no other person but ourselves. And we can decide how we think, how we act, and how we respond to challenges. And changing ourselves, it can be by being patient, or it's actually hard to change people around us rather, but instead we should try changing ourselves. There is this thing that most people normally know it, like you remove the tick from your eyes before removing something else from another person. So you need to take a look at yourself first before trying to change the world, and saying living as example more of or something like that.
Quite often we'll try to want other people to change. More often we are more of critics than building ourselves. A number of times when you bring it home, you see us trying to criticize our leaders who have solutions for everything, who want to change everything around us.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you see that you've not changed yourself. So Mahatma Gandhi, a great influence, a great man to look up to for issues like this, with the life he lived, is only telling us that change can only begin with you.
Yes.
It has to come from within. Change yourself first, and then maybe through your action, you begin to influence that change that you require about. Try to be that change agent first, rather than complain, rather than try to change other persons, like Mahatma Gandhi that you've quoted today.
Yeah.
Through his actions, he was able to steal his belief in Indians. Through his actions of non-violence, he became a change agent. Rather than preaching change to people, through changing himself, he was able to influence a greater change in the world today.
Yes. Thank you. So simply means we should try improving ourselves, and then in order to improve ourselves, we make it possible for changes in the world. And always keep in mind that every new sunrise is an opportunity for us to grow and explore things that are new. And please let us know what this thought means to you. You can drop your thoughts on Facebook, X, Instagram, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV. And we're going on the short break. When we return, it's Be the Weather Update.
Enugu is one of the 36 states of the Nigerian Federation. It is located on a hilltop in the southern part of the country. It has a rich history and robust cultural heritage that boosts its uniqueness. Igbo is widely spoken in Enugu State. Enugu is popularly called the Coastal State because of its large deposit of coal and other mineral resources. Enugu has 17 local government area councils. The history of Enugu dates back to the early 20th century when the British discovered coal in the Ude Hill in 1909, which led to the development of Enugu City in 1912 as a thriving mining town. Enugu empowered the Nigeria railway system and electric plants greatly during the colonial era. On the 27th of August 1991, Enugu was carved out from Anambra to become a state. As the home of the Igbo people, Enugu's culture reflected in its music, arts, and tradition, location, and geography. Enugu is situated in the southern part of Nigeria, sharing borders with Benue State at the north, Ebonyi State at the east, Abia State and Imo State at the south, and Anambra and Kogi State at the west, covering approximately 7,161 square kilometers. Enugu is characterized by undulating hills, forests, rivers, and fertile soil, making it suitable for farming.
All right, you're still watching Aneke TV. Stay tuned as we take a look at today's weather forecast across major cities in the southeast.
Yes, and we're beginning with Oka. In Oka, the morning begins mostly cloudy with temperatures around 24 degrees Celsius by late morning. Rain sets in and continues into early afternoon as temperatures climb to 28 degrees Celsius by midday. The afternoon brings intermittent clouds with peaks nearing 29 to 30 degrees Celsius before easing back into the mid-20 degrees Celsius into the evening.
In Enugu, the early hours start under mostly cloudy skies at 24 degrees Celsius. Rain develops by mid-morning and temperatures rise to approximately 28 degrees Celsius by midday. The afternoon remains warm and mostly cloudy with highs near 29 to 30 degrees Celsius, then gradually cools to the mid-20s as evening approaches.
And over to Abakaliki. The Abakaliki greets the day with cloudy skies and cool temperatures near 23 degrees Celsius. Shower arrives by mid-morning and by noon it rises to around 28 degrees Celsius. And the afternoon brings intermittent clouds and peaks near 29 to 30 degrees Celsius, followed by thunderstorms around 25 degrees Celsius in the evening before settling near 24 degrees Celsius.
And over to the driving city of Owerri. Owerri begins with showers and a cloudy morning around 22 degrees Celsius. As the day progresses, skies turn partly cloudy and temperatures climb to about 28 degrees Celsius by midday. Afternoon temperatures peak near 29 degrees Celsius, then drop to the mid-20 degrees Celsius as more clouds and evening thunderstorms roll in.
And in Umuahia, the morning remains mostly cloudy with temperatures starting near 22 degrees Celsius. Rain persists into mid-morning and by noon, temperatures climb to around 27 degrees Celsius. The afternoon sees intermittent clouds with highs near 28 to 29 degrees Celsius by evening. Thunderstorm emerges before temperatures dip into the mid-20 degrees Celsius.
All right, so wherever you are in the southeast today, be comfortable. Keep your umbrella handy. Whether rain or shine, we've got you covered. This is your weather report today on Aneke TV. Thank you for staying with us. We'll be right back shortly.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. So let's see what's making front page news today in The Nation, Punch, Vanguard and Guardian newspaper. On The Nation headlines, we have Nigerian politics full of liars, betrayers, says Jonathan. Now on the Punch headlines, Afenifere, Northern leaders demand state police and amid delays. Now on the Vanguard headline, we have opposition mounts against FG's 5% tax on petrol diesel. Now in Guardian headlines, how bias for sports, entertainment reinforces school NASCAM myth. And the Nation headlines reports that former President Goodluck Jonathan has voiced his concerns about the state of Nigerian politics, describing it as a space dominated by liars and betrayers. According to him, politics in the country has become a game of dishonesty where trust and integrity are constantly eroded. And his statement throws light on the long-standing problem of credibility and sincerity among political leaders. Now, my question is, do you agree with what Jonathan has said concerning politics being filled with liars and betrayers?
I can't agree any less.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. He has the experience. This is a man who has lived it. He has seen it all. And he's still seeing it. So, from his perspective, worth of experience, I can't agree any less. It is what it is. He has lived it. This is a man who, this time, is telling us that, yes, you can't trust politicians. That is not what they said in the morning.
That's what they do in the evening.
In the evening.
Okay.
So, you know he has lived it. When you look back to what happened to him in 2015, this is the first time a sitting president has to lose an election. And then when you take a critical look at that very election, you begin to see sabotage. That's a man that has felt the pangs of betrayal, speaking. So he has lived it. He can tell you better. So why not? He's telling us his experience. And when you collaborate his experience with some other persons and the nature and character of politicians, most politicians, you can but agree with him that it is what it is.
Yes.
Remember, this is a man who's been praised for his innovations, his ability to withdraw self, pound towards the rule of law, listening. Remember, pre-2015, there were demonstrations when he wanted to remove subsidy.
Yes.
There were demonstrations here and there, civil disobedience. At the end of the day, one of the first times in our political history, we witnessed government renege his actions. He came back. He didn't go ahead with the subsidy removal. He listened. He was praised for his humane approach to leadership, putting the nation first. At that point in time, if you follow the trend of things, you will see high praises from politicians. Then at the end of the day, the same man was betrayed by these people who sang his praise by morning.
Yes.
His acolytes, aides, advisors, members of his own political party worked for the opposition, such that they were losing elections in their constituents, not just in their ward. Let me bring it home a bit.
Okay.
Some of these politicians, some of these aides, when you talk about their ward, some of them, their ward is in front of their house. And they lost that election. They didn't just lose it, they lost woefully. So when you begin to think of that level of betrayal, you saw people that you felt you could rely on, at the end of the day, being partly the brain behind your opposition, giving information to the opposition, arming the opposition with state secrets from which they will deal a fatal blow on you. So he is a man who is been in the storm, telling you there is no politician currently in this nation that you would say he has not dealt with. However, bringing it into context, in the nation, when he made that statement, he was actually utilizing his chief of staff, Mike, in Edo State, who celebrated his 70th birthday, trying to extol him by letting people know that he has a character threat that lacks in most politicians, which is that of trust, which is that of steadfastness,
Yeah, integrity.
integrity. That this is a man who will stand by what he told you in the morning, that when you wake up with him, that is still the same, which is a quality that, according to him, is not found in our politicians of today.
Okay.
And then, given the fact that this is a man that has been called by the same political party that betrayed him, I'll be bold to say that, for him to come and take their ticket and run, though he has not thrown his heart in, but I think this is a poser to them. Have they purged themselves of these tendencies?
Okay.
Are they willing to learn from the experience of history? So this is the man. He has not categorically come out to say, okay, I'm going to run. But this is a shade on them.
Yeah.
That I know what happened. I still remember what happened. And I know most of you, I know the role you played.
Yeah.
And I do not think that you've purged yourself of these tendencies. So, when you ask me, do I agree with him? Why not?
Yes.
Why not? Being where he's been, seeing what he has seen, lived what he has lived. When someone like him talks, as a historian, yes, I will take him serious. As an analyst, yes, I will take him serious. Because I'll begin to, when you want to get a fresh and good perspective on the happenings on our nation, you need insight from men like him. Yes, I do not agree any less.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, me for one, I actually agree based on what we see. Like
Yes.
after the promises being made,
They are not being
now they
kept.
turn their back on us.
So that tells you
Yes.
that, yes, Mr. Jonathan, former President
it's
Goodluck Ebele
correct.
Jonathan, is right. Is what it is. Yes, we
Yes.
see it every day. I will water you, like somebody said. I will fire you, and at the end of the day,
We are left
you will
dry.
you will be instead of the fire, you will now begin to see snow
Okay.
in the desert. So
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now moving over to the Punch headlines. Afeni Ferrer, Northern leaders demand state police amidst delay. Now, the Pan-Yoruba socio-political group, Afeni Ferrer, together with some northern leaders, has renewed calls for the creation of state police. And their demand comes as the government delays in addressing worsening security challenges across the country. And as we saw in the paper yesterday, that the federal government has decided to make a state police because of due to insecurities. Now, my question is, if knowing that state police is important because of insecurity, like, why is it always delayed? Like, why has it been delayed for a long time?
okay, why has it been delayed? There are issues that you don't rush into.
Okay.
Yes, and state policing is one of them. It's a very delicate issue that you should take your time, study. When you come out with a position, it should be a position that will not put the nation into crisis. So issues like that, government needs to take their time, study it, albeit the security challenges that we are facing. So I feel that, yes, government is taking its time, that when they make this judgment call, at the end of the day, it will be holistic, and it will have to be in the interest of the people.
Okay.
So matters of security is very important, very delicate, and needs to be approached not with kick blows, but cautiously, bringing in every opinion, expert analysis into perspective. So I think that's why they've delayed with that.
Okay.
Yes. Then, when we look at the issue of state policing being in the front burner these days, yesterday one of the newspaper headlines carried it as well.
Okay.
Today we are seeing it on another newspaper headline.
Yes.
Now, it begins to tell you the importance
Of it.
of state policing. Why is this call on the increase? I have to point out that this is not the first time there's been call for state policing. It's always been there. Since 1999, the issue of state policing has been trumped up severally.
Yes.
Yes, but this time around, given the level of insecurity in Nigeria, it's become an issue. And now that the president told the delegation, led by Governor Rada, that he's considering it, he's looking into it and considering it. Now you begin to see more calls for it. However, the Yoruba Pan Socio-Cultural Organization, Afanifere, has always been in the forefront, advocating for state policing. Even their counterparts from the north, the Arewa Consultative Forum, has equally been on the vanguard for creation of state policing. Right now, let's take into perspective the realities of today. What is the security situation in Nigeria? Despite government efforts, which are commendable, that we are seeing that the kingpins of these bandits, terrorist arms, are being arrested. But more still needs to be done. Despite those sources, you're still witnessing killings. You're still witnessing decimation of worshippers, which is not supposed to be, right? So the call has to be on the increase. Now, looking a little bit further, by the call from the socio-cultural organization, when I look at the north, or rather, let me go to the southwest, you will see that when you begin to examine the southwest, the north, east, every geopolitical zones of the nation seems to have an agency in waiting.
Okay.
Either to be transitioned into state police or incorporated into state policing. What do I mean? When you look to the west, you will see Amatokun. Amatokun was set up by the governors of western states at the era of our former late president, during the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay.
The western governors came together due to myriads of insecurity situations popping up in the west, kidnapping, people couldn't travel through the highways, a lot of them. I remember the prominent Yoruba figure that lost the daughter to such attacks. So they came together, set up Amatokun. Then in the recent, you see that the West is already prepared for state policing. When you go to the north, you will see Hisba. Right? You see Hisba. Hisba equally can be transitioned or incorporated. I bet the fact that Hisba has a religious outlook, enforcement of Sharia and all that. But you see them arrest members of the public as well. So they can equally be transitioned. And when you look at it, you see that, okay, North is equally prepared in that aspect. Then when you step down to the southeast, for example, you will remember that at a point in time, the governors of the eastern states created what they called a Bubago, if my memory serves me right. Though much is not heard about that outfit now. But in recent times, Governor Soludo instituted an outfit that he called Udogachi in Anambra State. So what all this, when collectively put into perspective, you will see that the call for state policing can only be on the increase, right? However, you will recall that the National Executive Council mandated all the states to send in a report detailing their position, actionable plan on the implementation of state policing. And then immediately about 16 states responded, as at that time, though almost virtually all the states have sent in their reports, their perspective on implementation of state policing, right? Though the council doesn't sit regularly, they are here to take a decision on the issue of state policing. However, what are the things that we'll have to look into here? Like we did say yesterday, state policing, yes, given the fact that,
It's a good thing.
yes, given our situation, that insecurity is still very much in the front burner, very much we're witnessing it. Our security agencies, though they are trying, I commend the ONSA, but they seem overwhelmed in tackling insurgency, this rise of kidnapping, in case of insecurity here and there. So it now becomes germane to say, yes, that state policing is the direction to go, right? That is the right direction to go. Given equally the fact that I've witnessed calls, even from security agencies, for its establishment, right? So one will begin to, okay, this is the right direction to go. That since experts are talking, some believe that, okay. Now, another point for me here, while I think an argument in favor of creating state police may be very tenable, I recall in fighting insurgency in the north, you discover that the security establishment incorporated hunters and local vigilantes.
Yeah.
And when they did that, that's where you have, where they have, there's something they call it a joint task force, JTF,
Okay.
joint
Task force. Okay.
incorporating both the military, police, and civilians. When they did that, they started achieving serious results.
Okay.
Why is it bringing results? Because the locals, when you involve the locals in policing, in security, you tend to begin to see more results.
Yeah.
Because the locals know
They
their
know
environment.
everything, yes.
They know
They know
every
their
look and
surroundings.
planning of the environment. They know who lives where.
Yes.
If a visitor enters into
They
the
know.
community, they will be aware.
Yes.
Yes, so that becomes a tenable argument why state policing should be encouraged. And when I go a little further, I begin to remember in my follow-up to the 2023 election, I remember when the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter B, was asked a question and he was talking about how he curbed insecurity in Anambra State.
Okay.
You realize one of the takeaways for me then was that every community vigilantes were empowered. He gave them vehicles, gave them communication gadgets, such that if you steal a car from one community, before you get to the next community, they were already informed and they are waiting for you.
Yes.
And that way, we saw that insecurity in Anambra State dropped. In fact, according to police reports, bank robbery dropped. They didn't witness bank robbery throughout that period.
Wow.
So that becomes a tenable argument for state policing. However, we must look at the other end of it.
Yes, the disadvantage.
The disadvantage to having state police. Abuse. But before I speak to abuse, let me bring out the fact that the state's policing we'll talk about. Let's look at the federal police that is in place today.
Okay.
Are they well remunerated? We've seen demonstrations from either serving or ex-policemen calling out the government or the police force for not taking care of their welfare.
Yeah.
When you see that these people they always make the argument that their take home is not enough.
Little.
Where they live is not up to standard. You've equally seen those calls from our military as well of poor remuneration, not being well equipped, not being well catered for. What package do you have for them when someone is affected while at his job? You see many of them that are maimed, either due to bullet wounds, one circumstance or the other. How do we take care of them as a nation?
Yeah.
So these are the questions. And these, until you address this, even if you create state police, you will still witness the same thing.
Yes.
Look at it this way. We've heard reports from the military, for example, that when they sack some of these territories being commanded by these cells, terrorist cells, you will see hard currencies. Yes, that they operate with hard currencies.
Okay.
You begin to see foreign currencies. Now, a policeman who has information, who is underpaid, who has children to take care of at home,
Yes.
and is approached by these bandit networks, and
they
is
offer
offered,
a certain
he
amount.
may be offered his annual salary
Yeah.
in one moment.
Okay.
And you think that most of them will not
Will not.
divulge state secrets, will not sabotage operations. So until we begin to take care of these issues, then the issue of state policing will have to be treated very seriously. If you've not taken care of this, why create more? How are we going to take care of this state policing that we talk
Yes.
about? We are still battling the issue of minimum wage. Yeah? Civil servants are still complaining of not being well taken care of.
Yes.
Then, we are talking about creating state police. Where would the funding come from?
That's true.
How are we going to take care of their welfare? Now, that brings me to another question. These people will be armed, right? Let's talk to abuse. Abuse of privileges.
Yes.
Privileges by
Posing as
politicians,
threats
of
too.
leaders, and at the end of the day, we've talked about funding. If they are not well taken care of, they may turn out to be a threat to the very people they are supposed to protect.
Yes.
A case in point, the Udogachi in Anambra State, we witnessed most recently.
Yes.
And in this studio, we did call out that
Yes,
agency
for
for
the
their
youth corp.
heinous action towards the youth copper. If you create state police and you are not very careful, meticulously in planning and implementation, you will begin to see such abuses. They will become a threat to the very people they are supposed to protect. Now, what about abuse by the leaders, the politicians? Because I'm meant to understand that the control will be in the state.
Yeah.
That means federal government will somehow relinquish part of its control on security. Just like we've seen in power, right? So the state will begin to control. Now, what are the measures that will be put in place to see that state actors, when I mean state actors, I mean at the subnational level, they will not abuse the process. They will not use the state police to witch hunt their opponents.
It's true.
It will not be used to clamp down on civil societies or even on the press and the media, on their critics generally. So these are the issues. When you weigh, yes, we are in a tight feast, security-wise, that we may have to go this way. But my call is that it should be approached meticulously, and that government should take a holistic approach in trying to, when they take the decision, either to implement or not to implement. Every factor should be brought to account. Yes. And if they want to implement, bring on policies, bring on rules that will check, that will speak to abuse. Let's have an institution that is shielded from the politician, from the leaders. Let's have an institution that will run and regulate itself based on rights of the citizens, not subject to abuse.
Yeah.
We've seen what happens when you even go out the streets. Governments may have good intentions. What about abuse by individuals? Take, for example, the issue of traffic and traffic control in states, where people are extorted, the money are not remitted to government. So when you take account to such issues, you will see why they have to be meticulous in taking that decision, like you did ask me. They have to be meticulous in taking that decision, meticulous in planning, meticulous in execution, and more meticulous in drafting the rules that would guide such operations.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for that. Now, moving over to the Vanguard newspaper. Opposition mounts against FG's 5% tax on petrol and diesel. Now, the Vanguard newspaper reports that opposition is mounting against the federal government's plan to introduce a 5% tax on petrol and diesel. And various stakeholders, including civil society groups and economic analysts, have criticized the move, insisting that it would place an extra burden on Nigerians already struggling with high fuel costs and rising inflation. So my question is, do you think this alternative source of revenue can really affect... Okay, I'm asking the wrong question.
No, there's nothing like the wrong question.
Okay, do you think it's actually true that it's going to affect the Nigerians more from if getting a 5% tax revenue from fuel or diesel or petrol?
Okay. No, we're talking to issue of taxation.
Okay.
You know where I stand already on issue of taxation. If I may ask you, if I revert back to you again, when you have 5 oranges,
okay,
and I take 1, and I come back again to, out of the 4 that is remaining, to take half from that, will it not diminish the quantity of orange you have?
Yes, it will.
Good. So for me, that's the position on this. This action by government of, remember that it was in June 26th, 2023, right? That the government signed, started mooting about this charge on petroleum, right? That the president signed the Tax Administration Act, which will come into effect in January 2026. By this charge, they will try to place 5% tax on every petroleum product that you purchase.
Okay.
Fuel, gasoline. So once you walk into a filling station and buy 1,000 naira fuel, you pay a 5% charge. So when you ask me, yes, it's going to impact on the people. It's going to impact on the people. But for the sake of balancing, let me take a look from the government perspective. What does government want to achieve? More revenue, right?
Yes, more revenue.
In fact, in their estimation, they speculate, or their study is such that they will generate about 796 billion from just this 5%
tax
annually. That they will be able to generate over 700 billion from this 5% tax annually. Now, what again from the part of government is all about generating revenue, increase in IGR and all that. And they've argued that they want to take people away from dependence on petroleum, that will have to move into the use of CNG, yes, compressed natural gas, and for cooking, we'll have to look to cooking gas for all that. So discourage people from depending mainly on petroleum products, right? That argument may be tenable, but however, when looked from the perspective of the citizen, it's flawed for me. Because I, for one, I feel that the people are overtaxed already. I feel that we are overtaxed in the country. However, what we're witnessing economically today, how do we come about these whole issues? Remember that when this government came into office, that the price of petroleum was around 190 something.
Yes.
Then the president made a proclamation removing fuel subsidy. Immediately, what did we witness? We witnessed a price skyrocketed.
More than 800.
Today, we are buying fuel for how much? 950 naira a liter of fuel in Nigeria. and then you want to task
To
the
add.
same suffering masses who are paying from 190 something to 900 and something. Now, when you buy a fuel 950 naira a liter, you pay another 5% extra. Do you see the impact? What
Yeah.
this will have on the people? So this whole things, I think, comes from government not being able to sharpen its policies very well.
Yeah.
And for me, yes, when you ask, the people are overtasked. The people are overtasked. Given that you see, as at the other day, the president is celebrating meeting their
revenue
targets already.
Yes.
So if what you have already, you can meet your target.
So
why increase?
Why add?
Yes.
More?
So why not recall this bill that will take effect from January if you're already meeting it? Every effort of government, every policies of government should have a human face and should gear towards making the citizens comfortable, enjoy the dividends of having a government in place, enjoy the dividends of having a progressive working government that is to their benefit, right?
Yes.
So, for me, why would I criticize this policy? The impact it will have on the citizens, like you did ask, this will have tremendous effect on citizens and business. Look at it. Transportation costs will increase.
Yeah.
The bus driver that has paid additional 5% tax must increase tax.
Yes, his own.
Good. Once that happens, what will you witness? You begin to see increase in price of goods and services.
Yes.
It has to find a balance.
Exactly.
Then the price of food will go up. You're asking me how
And
this
there's
will.
no coming
You're
down.
asking me how it will affect the people. These are the ways it will affect the people.
Okay.
Yes, and once you have this increase in goods and services, you begin to witness inflation. Yes, there will be an increase in inflation. It will contribute to inflation. So these are ways it's affecting the people. And then, most importantly, look at the impact this will have on the environment. When you talk about having cleaner energy by making people move away from fossil fuels and move away to compressed gas, that's the CNG and cooking gas, what is their purchasing power? And that's the question I ask. These people are already groaning. You see civil servants telling you that their take home can no longer take them to the bus stop. These same people will be the one who will revert to CNGs and cooking gas. No, let me tell you what you will witness. You will see people revert to fallen trees, converting them to firewood, charcoals. And what would that have? It begins to impact the environment negatively.
Yes.
We are talking about climate change and all that. And we've been preaching green environment, planting of trees,
Yes.
seeing ways that we can be able to check the imbalance in weather, the effect of climatic change. What you witness is that this whole campaign will be turned to stress because when price of things begin to increase, people will abandon fuel, get to look for charcoal. The business of selling charcoal will thrive. The seller, when he sells more, will go for more trees, convert them to charcoal, and that will boom. That will begin to and continue to have impact on the environment. So when looked at from every angle, yes, it has impact, and it will have negative impact on the citizens. And that's why you will see that there's opposition now. You understand? The Petroleum Retail Outlet Associations of Nigeria have come out to say no, that they cannot be able to implement this policy because they are the people that would have to enforce it because it's at the level of purchase and all that. Right? They say that they can't implement this, they can't obey this. That at the end of the day, it will have negative impacts on them.
Yes.
They will begin to close outlets because you won't see people buying. Right now, have you seen queue in our fleet stations? You don't. You drive in, you buy. When you get to fleet stations, either you're the only car parked or you see only one tricycle or one other car. You just buy and go. Why? Because a lot of people have parked their car.
Yeah.
A lot of people have parked their car. Car is no longer seen as necessity. Driving your own car is no longer seen as a necessity. Now, it's being seen as a thing of pleasure, status symbol, that you can still afford to buy fuel at 950. Because while these things are increasing, does the earning power too increase at the same pace? No. So you begin to see the call, even from opposition political party. Yes, even I'm happy to hear that the ADC too are saying that this government, this policy has no human face. Yes, other political parties, opposition political parties, even Mr. P2B has come to call out the government to rethink this policy, that this is not a time, this is not a good time for this policy. Even if this policy may have to come at any point in time, why not let us, first of all, now that we say we are stabilizing the economy, why not let us, first of all, see to it that the people are beginning to reap the benefits of stabilizing this economy before we throw another taxation on them. So, as far as I'm concerned, this policy will place a heavier burden on the poor and further widen the gap of inequality. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now we'll be taking the Guardian newspaper. And the Guardian newspaper reports that Nigerians are growing preferences for sports and entertainment in reinforcing the widespread belief among youths that school na scam. With the success story of entertainers, athletes and social media influencers overshadowing those of academics and professionals, many young people now see formal education as less important. Now, this article warns that the bias could weaken the value placed on education and encouraging a cultural where quick fame is pursued. Now, my question is the success of entertainers and athletes making young people value fame and this instead of education, having education background and all that thing? Because when you see some people now, for example, there are certain people that just want to be content creators, and instead they don't, if you ask them what do you want to do, they say they want to be content creators, they want to make money fast, make money easily and every other thing. But instead of, let's say, they'll tell you, why would I go to school when school is scam? You get, after reading 4 years, you still come out not being employed, you still come out being jobless and all that. Yeah, but instead, they just want to make money at the fast way. So do you think it's actually good to chase looking at other entertainers, other celebrities, lifestyle and everything, than instead of getting the education and educational background? So what's your take on this?
All right. Before we go into this, let me say boldly that education is not a scam.
Yes.
Yes, education is not a scam. I repeat that. Education is not a scam. Irrespective of what we are witnessing, what is happening around us, and the factors that make these young ones refer to education as scam, you understand? Education no be scam. Now, I don't know how the data was collected to arrive at that assertion that the young ones are abandoning education, or that sports and entertainment are influencing younger ones to move away from academics, right? And seeing schooling or education as scam. I don't know this thing. However, given what is happening in our environment, let's call your attention. You know, when you were talking, you did mention people want to go into content creation. People want to go into a lot of things. What's the essence of wanting to do these things? Why do many people want to be content creators? Why do people want to go into sports? Why do people want to be entertainers? Now, one thing you would see there, the answer lies in what we've been saying.
Okay.
The issue of the economy.
Okay.
Yes. The essence of doing all that is that they want to earn money. They want to earn something. Can they afford school in the first place? That's the first question. A lot of them, can they afford paying of school fees? Can they afford to be in school? While at it, can they afford, those of them who are in school, can they afford to see themselves through it without looking to maybe content creation, entertainment, sports. Now, let me make something clear. Let's go to other climes. Look at the United States, for example. What do you see blacks do more? The blacks are into entertainment. They are into, when we talk about sports, they lead, right? Go to South Africa. Blacks are mainly in entertainment and sports. Now, bringing it home, a lot of people are tilting towards entertainment and sports rather than going to school, like the headline portray. The question is, why is it like that?
Because of the economy.
Yes, it's always not just the economy. It points to one thing. There's an imbalance. There's a societal imbalance. Wherever you see this thing happen, it points to a societal imbalance. I've cited the United States of America, the blacks. It's because there is an inequality in that society. They didn't have the privilege to enjoy the privileges that their white counterparts enjoy.
Okay.
So, for them to make a headway, for them to be able to crawl out of the shackle that the society has placed on them, they go into entertainment, they go into sports. It becomes a way for them to exert influence, earn a living, and then move forward. Then, others looking up to them, see that these ones are making it, would have to toe that line.
Let's join in it.
Yes. When you look at South Africa, that's the same thing. So, rather than look even at the headline from the perspective of the younger ones who call schools scam, I am alarmed of the imbalance that portends. It now begins to tell you that the gap is widening and widening fast. People no longer see education and the benefits that will accrue to it as the short path to cross into the other end of the social strata, from the lower class to either the middle class or the upper echelon. So, I'd rather speak to that imbalance in society. It becomes very worrisome that such imbalance is happening in our climate, in our country, that is richer than most nations. It now begins to tell you that things are not evenly distributed. The dividends of having a government catering for you is not coming. So people are going where they will make fast living. Looking at education, you go to school, spend how many years, like you've pointed out, then you go and serve the fatherland. At the end of the day, what does the fatherland give you? Like most of them, who are my younger friends in the Nigeria National Youth Service Corps, they will tell you that it's not National Youth Service Corps, it's now your suffering continues. Do you understand? So when you see interpretations like that, it begins to tell you that these ones who are serving the nation, who should be the pride of the nation, are equally losing hope. Because when they come out, where is the job for them? They begin to carry files and run the streets. You go to place of interview. Do you understand? Go to, if you have time, go to interviews. You will see people. You see people that will tell you that they've been out of school for 10 years and they're still searching for a job. And then younger ones are coming out. They are fresh graduates coming out every day. So, and you want them to be, you want this young one in this fast-paced generation to wait for you with only going to school and not looking for other means. So, sports, entertainment becomes a way out. Do you understand? What that tells you, one, is that there is an imbalance in the society. There is that the society lacks even distribution of benefits. That it has now alienated itself from moving. It's no longer easy for you to move from one social strata to the other. So sports and entertainment will continue to be a leeway. And we'll continue to say that tomorrow, except something is done to reframe, reshape our educational policy. You understand? Move it away from that of textbook-based cramming and all that, to experiential knowledge, where data-driven, where when you come out, entrepreneur, you come out, you're able to set something for yourself. Then let the one coming after you see that, this is my one that has gone to school is living well. It's not that they come out that Papa, Mama is still giving them tokens to live on. So if that continues, you continue to see that people will tilt towards entertainment and education.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Well, I for one said education is not a scam. Now you can grab your physical copies online from any of your favorite vendor, or grab the e-paper online, and don't forget to tag us on Facebook, Instagram, X, all at Aneke TV. And it's a wrap on today's edition of Sunrise on Aneke TV. I am Deborah Wakoba. Thank you for staying with us.
And Uche Osai, remember, you're not here to be average. Stay bold, be unique, and keep watching Aneke TV till we'll come your way same time tomorrow. I'm still remain Uche Osai. Bye-bye.
The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles, such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land.
I Na ba ya mechi na ọbụ ọkụ na anọ anyị adawo aga ọjị a na-awa ha abịa ji na ọjị na-eke ịkya na a na-agụ ya a na-ejide ọjị na-eka nri a na-emeghachi ihe kere ihe na ihe wara ihe Chineke nna kere enu ke anụ m akpọkụ ndị ezigbo mmadụ niile nọchawọrọ ndụ na-amechi ọkụ na anọ na anụ ọkụ na anọ na anụ Nkanụ na anụ Nta Egbe na-ese na anụ Enugu steeti na-asị biko na ọ bụ ha metere ihe ọma ka anyị na-asị ha gbadata ha bịa tara ọjị anyị na-asị Eke ka Eke ketere anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị Ahwọ ka Ahwọ ghọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị Nkwọ ka Nkwọ kwọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị Orie ka Orie rutere anyị ihe ọma ihe ndị a niile ka anyị na-arịọ nna sị ka ị bịa mere anyị wetere anyị udo n'ala Igbo wetere anyị udo n'ala Naịjirịa wetere anyị ịhụnanya wetere anyị ọganihu, wetere anyị ihe niile bụ ihe na-eme obodo adị mma. Nna biko, ihe ndị a ka anyị na-arịọ, kwetewo na imeworo anyị karịa ka anyị rịọrọ n'ịhwa Chineke nna kere enu ka ana bụ Chukwu okike abịama.
Ndị be anyị ọjị abịa, anyị na-ekene osebụrụ ụwa, ekene Chukwu okike nna ketara anyị oge kere igwe ka anyị na-ata ọjị, anyị chọrọ iwe ọjị, ị na-awa n'otu awa n'ibe, asị ka ị goziela anyị taa, ka ihe ọma hụkwa gwute anyị na-akpọke ndị nna nna anyị ha bụ abụ ndị mere ọhụma, goziela anyị Eke, gozie Orie, gozie Nkwọ, mee ka ndị ọbụla na-agagharị na-achọghị ha ga-eri, mee ọhụma na ndị sokwa ụzọ ọtọ, ndị kwụkwara ụzọ na-eje n'ụzọ kwụrụ ọtọ, soro ka iwu Chukwu ji wee dị. Chukwu na anyị siri ka anyị wụọ gị a tata nde udo na ọgụ na aga m niile ka ọ dịrị anyị mma. Ndewo. Anyị na-ewepụta ile ọjị na-egosi ụmụnna anyị, okenye na-awa ọjị, ndị ọzọ na-awa ọjị, na-enye ile ọjị nsọfụrụ, maka na ebe a nọ na ile ọjị a ka eji ama eziokwu. Iweta ọjị onye ọzọ na-asa ile, ọ ga-eji na-ekwu eziokwu. Onye sara ile weta ile ọjị were na-ekpe ekpere, were na-aga ọhụụ, ọ ga-ekwuneta eziokwu. Ọjị a anyị na-enye nsọfụrụ. Ọjị ruo ịnọ otu a ata ya, o ruo ise atakwa ya, mana o bido ruo na asaa, ịma na ị ga-egbu anụ, ị ga-egbu ọkụkọ.
Na mbụ ọja m na-asị ekekele ụwa na ọkwa ọja ekenekwa gị, n'eluigwe na ala na-ekene gị, n'urukpuru na kpakpando na-ekene gị, na ugwu na ndịna na-ekene gị. Maka ka onye si eme ka ekwe si akpụ ya, ka onye si eme ka ọja si akpụ ya. Ihe a bụ Aneke TV.
Oja is a traditional Igbo wind wooden music instrument, often referred to as a talking flute, because of its ability to mimic speech patterns and convey messages. There are various types of Oja, differentiated by their pitch and functions. Oja Mmanwu, Oja Okolobia, Oja Igede, and Oja Ukwe, the singing flute. Each holds a specific cultural significance. The Oja typically has 4 holes, 2 on opposite sides for the fingers, a mouthpiece that leads to the hollow inner chamber, and a terminal hole, similar in size to the finger hole. Oja is one of the prominent indigenous music instruments of the Igbo people. It is considered a spiritual instrument capable of captivating listeners and even influencing their actions. It has keys just like the keyboard, produces lyrical melodies, Ogene is a metal bell historically made by the Igbo people and considered as one of the most important metal instruments in Igbo traditional music. When struck with a wooden stick, it produces a sharp resonant tone. It is a symbol of Igbo identity and heritage, passed down through generations. Ogene acts as a rhythmic instrument, a melodic device, a means of communication, and also used in divination and spiritual rituals. It provides the rhythmic backbone, often setting the tempo and pace for other instruments and dancers. Ogene comes in different shapes and sizes. The single bell ogene, the double-belled ogene, ogene mpenabo, with each producing different sounds. The triple-shaped ogene, ogene mpe ato, each also producing different sounds. In an ogene cultural dance group, the vocal style is often distinguished by its main vocalist, with multiple singers singing in harmony with each.
igwe maka na ọ magoro okwu izizi igwe nwanụ jeke elu ya aka abịa zọrọ igwe ka igwe
obodo ọlọkwa ebe nwa ya ji
The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles, such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land.
Mama, we go to the
Obeba ya kwabo.
Na na mu kwado ndi ni ma showo. Ndi de kokoli go to ne. Go da mu na bo.
Iya.
Go to ne ke.
Iya.
Go da mu no go no mu ke ke go to ne ke. Ayi de ke je go to ne ke mi go wa ga. Go to bo pa ma sha mi go to ne ke chi.
Wele na ma lo lo ko. Wele yo babari. Wo bu ji be go je ka kala. Wele ke de jo ku bi de ya do lu ku la bu le je no ke to wo. Dulo to goro. Iya.
Ma ta mo de wo ku ma tu. Ma na ni de ni ba ku ku. Mo sa ma la ku ko ta ni ni da ma cho. Ọmọ bọ́ọ̀gbè.
Iya, ọ gara achọ. Ọ dịghị wọrụ ka ọ ga-eje. Ọ dịghị wọrụ ka ọ ga-eje.
Ọmọ bọ́ọ̀gbè.
Ije wo egide bụ wigbo ọbẹrẹjẹ ló wù tó ebe gbúdọ̀ òwòrò òwúrù jéde lókèrèjẹ ló wù tó ebe gbúdọ̀ òwòrò òwúrù jéde ebe mọ́pẹ́ lóyún jẹ̀dùlẹ̀ jìnnú ká dọ̀rẹ̀ yan kàwó.
Ọmọ òtòtò ní kẹ́sẹ̀ kàdájú ṣe. Wọ́n kọ́wé ìdìbò ìbò wọ́n ṣọwọ́ wọ́n kà lóbò tún jọ. Kọ́sẹ̀ ìtẹ́gà bèrè wọ́n ṣọwọ́ wíìgbò. Bọ́sùmínà ẹ̀ jẹ̀rọ̀ ńkọ́ báyìí.
Mo jẹ́ ayé jẹ̀rọ̀ ńkọ́ báyìí o. Age na baya.
We're happy to have you. Remember, on the inside, we explain the heartbeat of politics, issues, topics, headlines that shape our nation. Today, based on your demand, we'll be looking at education, impact, contribution in shaping our nation. And we are pleased to be talking with educators, Lady Dr. Patricia Aneke, proprietress, Citadel Group of Learning. Ma'am, it's good to have you.
You're welcome.
All right. And
good day, viewers. You're all welcome to today's program.
All right. And with her also is Eze Chinasa, admin of Citadel Group of Schools, Enugu.
Thank you, Mr. Osai. The viewers out there, you are welcome to this program.
All right. Madam, let's get into it. There's no time to waste. The people want to know. They want to hear. They are worried and they are bothered. How you're coping. How you're keeping the school afloat.
despite the situation of the country.
Okay, good morning once again, viewers. Education and how it shaped the nation. I think that first of all, we need to know what education is all about. The roots of education. Education is all about learning. How do we inculcate that learning into our day-to-day habits or into our day-to-day activities in our children? How do we break down the education to what it is today? Education of 300 years or 200 days ago is not what is happening today. What is education today all about? It's all about digital learning, practical learning, taking it down to the grassroots. What am I trying to say? We can now understand what is happening right now in the present curriculum that the federal government just brought out, where we are meant to understand the diverse way the education globally is going right now.
All right,
It's evolving.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But our viewers want to know, things are difficult. Organizations are closing. So schools have closed. How are you navigating this situation?
Okay, things are difficult, organizations are closing, but I don't think education will close down. Things are difficult, but we must navigate it in the educational sector. In the sense that, though, some might say, yes, but they are seeing education now as something that is expensive. I want to let the viewers say that is from that perspective, that's not the monetary aspect that you are looking for, but the value. What value, what educational value are you getting? Any child cannot have it well, cannot perform anything he or she is doing tangibly well without the knowledge of education. So whether other ones are closing or doing, education on its own globally is evolving. It's digitalizing in a way that...
Because of the quality you offer, there's no way for you to shut down.
No. It's not only me, Citadel, offering. Other school owners in our state right now, you can see what our governor is doing.
I want to know what your governor is doing. I still want to get insight into what is happening and how you're able to keep the school afloat. I mean, how are you handling parents? We are well aware the economy is equally telling on parents. A lot of parents are complaining. Their take home can't take them home again. So they can't pay school fees. How do you handle it? You send the children away from school. Why are you able to make them pay, then keep things going?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Osai. All right, the way we keep the school or the parents or everything growing in Citadel, now, first of all, the parents will now look at the results of that thing they are paying for. You know, mainly, if you are not getting a positive result in whatever you are doing, definitely you will quit. But as long as they are getting a positive result, they will go to any length to do what? To fulfill that course. Now, when it comes to our school, we are giving them the best. And we don't drive children home. No, we don't do that. We can never do that. No, thank you.
I would like to chip in something. Things are hard, things are difficult, quite all right. But I want to let us know something. When it comes to an economist, there's something that is called scale of preference. Yes. And when you come up to that scale of preference, parents out there will rest assured with me that education of your child must be the paramount of it. Sure. Hold on. In our country today, you can't measure up with a child who is educated and a barrel pusher. I know things are difficult, but we can't remove our eyes from the educational value your child gets. In my school, like my admin said, we don't normally pursue our children out because they are not the one paying, it's the parents. Do you know what we do? We normally fix a meeting with them. We call for an open door policy with the parents to talk to them because some of them are, yes, they are quite literate, but some of them barely understand the value education is all about. That is good. Even if you can deprive yourself something, but don't deprive yourself from the education you will give to your child.
So you restructure payments in such a way to suit parents. Instead of paying a lump sum once, you restructure it in such a way that maybe you
Yes,
pay this month.
like in my school, we have a, like I told you, we have a policy. We have a policy. We do give that. We do allow them to pay on 2 instrumental basis. Thereby, it can be less burdensome for you. You can know how to plan your home. Like I said initially, every family must have budgets. That's what is called budgeting. A family can never do well without budgeting. So if you have budgets, opportunity cost, you know one that comes and the other one, you start planning. Early planning leads to perfect execution.
Early planning.
Early planning.
Perfect execution.
If you plan well, you execute very, very well.
Right. Now we're talking about early planning, perfect execution. And when we were talking before, you mentioned digitization. Now, looking at government policy, especially in Enugu State, this government, according to them, they are transiting through a policy plan they call EETP. That is moving education away from what it used to be, textbook-based, to skill-driven technology and what they call experiential learning. How are you adapting to that?
I will really applaud our government on that because it's quite interesting to move out from analog to digital. Yes, it's going to help our children in the sense that we are now in digital age. We are now in computer age. So that they can be able to see themselves, thriving with others outside there. Yes, we are moving out from analog stage, going into what we call practical learning, practical digital learning, where all these things that you mentioned right now, and I'm so happy that with the current curriculum that just published right now, everything is on smart education. And I thank God that our state, Enugu State, we are already in, through the help of our governor, our smart governor, who knows exactly what education is all about. He had already called us for a meeting and told us where education is going right now, so that each child that comes out from your school can be able to measure up outside. We are learning coding, STEM, that's the science, tech, engineering and mathematics, know your world, personal social development. All these things are science-equipped learning that will help to shape a child. Right. And when some of those things comes in, I don't really believe that any child who undergo such processes will come back to be.
All right. You mentioned the Smart School Initiative. I wanted to go into that directly.
Okay.
But before we go into that, I want to ask, as a parent and as an educator, there are people who are worried that most parents may not be able to transition their children in terms of finance to provide the needed gadgets to join the digitization of learning. Are you not worried?
Well, what you said, yes, I know as a parent, you are right, because most parents will be fidgeting right now in terms of what is going to happen on the monetary side of it, that maybe they cannot fit in.
Yes.
But I want to encourage them to tell yourself that I can do it. That's why I say planning. planning really matters a lot in whatever we are doing. It's true that every money comes in, but let's not be looking at the monetary aspect of it. Let us plan that this is what will help our children in future. Look at what is happening now. Do you know technology has shaped a child that a child can build this laptop, build a car, and the car can move? They are all technology. So, but if you are looking at, I cannot do it, let us stop telling ourselves, parents, that we cannot do it. Let us have that bold mind and come into ourselves to do. I would like my admin to chip in something.
Yes.
Admin, before you continue, I was going to ask you, separate yourself as an administrator.
Okay.
On the inside, we get feedback from the street. Their opinion is what shapes what we discuss.
Okay.
School will resume. A lot of kids in the streets are worried that their parents may not be able to send them back to school. Parents are worried that with this digitization we're talking about, they've not been able to buy textbook, not to even talk about gadgets. Are you not worried for them? Some of these parents cannot even afford proper meal for the children.
Okay, thank you so much. As a parent too, because I'm also a parent, I don't think that being worried at this early stage is the solution to the problem. They don't need to be worried. They only need to stand tall, beat their chest. This is my child. I must see her, his or her education. I must see to it. You start working for it. There was a time my mother told me a story. She said that during that time, when she was raising my brother, that she sold some of her cloth in order to see that her son passed through education. She did not pass through. So when it comes to that, you can do whatever it is that is positive and right, not the other way around, to make sure, to ensure that your child goes to school. Keeping the child at home will not be the solution to the problem. That might be the danger of it all. It might harm it will definitely harm the child, because being at home, the child is exposed to so many things. Is exposed to bad influence, bad friends, and when he or she is in their midst, so many things might happen that will come back to bounce on the parent. So what you need to do is just to tight your wrapper, like the olden days, in traditional way. They will tell you, make tight your wrapper very well and see to it. It will surely work out.
All right. You know, when we were speaking before, you said you have meetings with the government. Now, our worry is this, based on the feedback from the streets. In as much as we progress, we need to carry everybody in the society along. There are those, no matter how they tighten their belts, they can't afford 3 square meal. How can they progress? Is government, if we move away from the basic that we knew, how are we going to incorporate these children into this system? Are you advising the government not to forget these ones?
Yes, already I want to applaud our government because he's doing more to see that Enugu State is better off, to the question you just asked me. Because if you look at some of the schools, he's offering a free education. It's a good incentive to tell those parents not to relent back. Come out. Since government has afforded free education, I think he has done noble to see that every child is unique, every child is educated. I want to tell parents, some of my parents or all the parents out there, let us be intentional. Let us stand tall and let us stand firm to take decisions. Because you might offer free education and some will still go back and stay at home. And some will continue to abuse. You will see a child of 10 years and above, he will be hawking in an odd hour. Exactly the time that child is supposed to be in the classroom. The child will be on the street hawking. It's an abuse. Government has tried. Most of us in the private sector, It's equally trying because in my school, I offered a scholarship of almost 100 and something students to make sure that no child is left behind.
As we are wanted to touch.
Yes,
Yes.
I did that.
That's why we're driving.
Upon I'm an individual, but I did that to show you how passionate I am and how I want education to move on. I don't want any child to be left behind.
No child should be left behind.
Exactly.
Now we're talking about digitization, smart school. In Enugu State, the governor's emphasis or the government emphasis is on smart school initiatives. With that, what are you doing, the private schools, to meet up this pace?
Okay, the private schools, really, we are trying. Majority of us, we are ready. Initially, we are on it before ever the government set the ball rolling. Because we know that education is not supposed to end in reading and writing the analog way. No. If you travel out, attend conferences, seminars, you will come back to know that education is now evolving. Therefore, you're supposed to smart yourself, not wait for government to come. Yes, government is coming right now. It's a fine. It's a welcome idea. It's a welcome development because it's going to make some of us into private schools that believe that, yes, private school is a money venture business, to wake up and know that train the child that the way it should grow, not only in your circle, but to meet others.
With others.
To relate with others outside there.
All right. Still on this.
Okay.
The children, we know that they have different capacities. Not all of them will be able to cope with this digitization at the same pace. Is there anything you are doing to see that everybody is carried along and at their pace?
Yeah.
Yes. I will use our school as an example. We understand that education builds human capitals. So with this knowledge in our minds, we deviate so many ways in order to help those, we don't call them slow learners, we call them lazy learners because no one is slow. We don't have snails. So those lazy learners, we carry them along with a different tutor. Why there are a different tutor for those ones that are high flyers? So in this situation, when these ones are flying, these ones are trying to meet up. And when we got the high flyers from those ones we are trying to breed, we now move them to the other category where they can join the other ones to fly.
Okay. All right, that's quite encouraging. Now, going further, I know yours is the private sector, and more often you seem to have more qualified, if I use the word qualified, or let me better use more trained teachers.
Okay.
What would you be telling the government? Because that seems to be the challenge that we have with public schools. What should they do differently? At least the pace or the gap should not be much between private schools and government schools. Well, quite a number of times people have argued that children from the private school do better and seems to be ahead when at the end of the day, most of them they meet at the tertiary level. So what will you be advising the government in terms of training and retraining teachers to meet this standard?
Okay, I can say that in schools right now, every school is unique. And what all of us are trying to do is to have trained and qualified teachers in the field, both the government and the private schools. All of us are striving to have trained and qualified teachers. So what my candid advice is that let's keep trying, let's keep building up by attending conferences, seminars. That's one thing the private schools are doing that I love most, because we keep trying to train our teachers. Government schools are quite coming up. They are doing it as well. Because the last time We, all of us gathered together. Government trained both the private and the government teachers based on this smart.
Sorry, when you say government, do you mean the government at the national or
No, the government of Enugu State. I'm talking of my state, where I'm operating. Governor Peter, Dr. Barrister Peter Ndubisimba, who is the governor of Enugu State. He has been trying in the educational sector in the sense that...
charge you for such training?
No. The one that he just did, he called all of us. We were there. He offered training to make sure that his plan, his educational plan for the state comes out well. His dream for what he's aiming at, the digitalization, the smart schooling of a thing, making his state one of the best e-learning schools that we have now. He did well, and he didn't take anything.
Okay, if I may add to what she said, I think I was opportune to have an interaction with a government school teacher. And I was made to understand that they are already undergoing this training, like my boss said. They have already started undergoing this training. And from what she told me, she said that at the end, they will have a kind of assessment. If you do not pass, if you do not meet up, you will be withdrawn. So that is why I'm so happy because of this current government. He is an educated governor. So because he's an educated governor, he can never leave anything. He can never leave any stone unturned in order to make Enugu State a better place for education.
Because I was going to ask you exactly that question. If as a parent you're not worried that the teachers may not be able to live up to that level of digitization, e-learning and all that. But now that you've spoken to that, I want to ask, given what government is, every government come and go. Each one with its policies, each one with its dreams. Are you not worried? Talking about the smart school initiative, e-learning and all that, so beautiful in outlook. Are you not worried that maybe after this government, there may be no continuation?
Well, okay, you want to talk something?
Okay. Thank you, sir. I must tell you, as a human being, initially I was. But when it comes to the positive outcome of it, I think that every human being that wants the good of his or her, for his country, must surely continue with this education.
All right.
This smart school.
All right.
I want to chip in also that the aim and purpose of our governor making Enugu State a smart school is not something I think that will just diesel away in a twinkle of an eye like that. Even if our governor ends his office today, there must be continuation because it's a good thing. He brought in another dimension of education that those in abroad, if you travel outside the country, that's exactly the place you will see what we are about to experience in the government educational sector right now.
Right.
So I don't think that governor will, after all his dream hopes, suffering and effort to bring it in, another government will come in and they will just end it halfway.
All right. Before we go on a short break, I want to ask, you are a director and a proprietress of a school, Citadel.
Yes.
Will these developments in government-owned institutions, the policy direction of this governor, are you not worried that may bring an end to private schools or bring a serious competition for private schools?
Well, to me, I'm not worried on my own side, but I love what our governor is doing right now because it will buckle up most schools to buckle up.
Yeah. You welcome the competition?
Yes. I welcome it.
Yes.
Hold on, let me tell you, without challenge,
you can never grow.
You can never grow. So we need that. We need competition. Right. If somebody is competing with you, it will help you to grow. It will help you to buckle up.
Right.
And the issue of this smart school, smart whatever, will help some mushroom schools to learn and update themselves.
All right. So on that note, we'll take a short break. When we return, we'll continue with these issues.
The soul is part of us that survives every storm. You can't see it, but you can feel it in silence, in longing, in every heartbeat that keeps going. It asks for more than food and fame. It hungers for meaning, for stillness, for the divine. The soul is where music is born, where peace begins, where truth hides. To care for your soul is the greatest act of self-love. For in the end, what we were fate, but what we are.
Alright, you're still watching The Insight, where we bring you the heartbeat of issues, explore them, analyze them. And we are still talking to educators, Lady Dr. Patricia Aneke, Director, Proprietors of Citadel Group of Schools, Enugu. And with her on the Insight today is also Eze Chinasa, the admin of Citadel Group of Schools. It's been a pleasure speaking with you so far.
Thank you.
But now, we've looked at these policies. Okay. Let's get into it. Where it matters the most. Discipline. How do you ensure discipline of our children? Let me give you a perspective. Growing up, when a neighbor sees you misbehaving in the streets, they will discipline you. But today, some parents don't even want the teacher to touch their kids. How do you bring about discipline? And see to it that teachers don't even abuse that privilege.
Thank you so much, Mr. Uche. Honestly, discipline is one of the core challenges we are facing, not only in school, in everywhere. Discipline. Discipline is one of the is a big challenge, and is one of the tasks we should face squarely with everything to make sure we get it right. You know, handling these children is very, very difficult. Whether because they are in their teen age, the nursery side of it, the primary side of it, and the secondary side of it. Even the teachers like you, and even parents. There's an incident that happened in a school one certain time, because in my school we have our rules and regulations, which we normally give out on admission. Yes. And we will let you know that our uniform is a so this, and a black shoe, but you will still see that parents will contradict it. Instead of putting on that the correct uniform, they will try to let you know that maybe they are professor this, honorable this, that kind of a thing. Bringing indiscipline. But we don't tolerate that, because already we've given you a code of conduct and you are with it. We will just call you to order and let you make you understand the page. Again, that's why I said once in a while, we normally call our parents to orientation. Giving out orientation, it matters a lot. Because in that orientation, we need to talk on not only discipline, there are other things that, that do happen, like bullying in schools.
Yes,
We
I
normally...
was coming to that. How you handle bullying and all that.
All those things is something that you have to look into it critically. Look into it and find a solution to it. We are really trying on our own best to make sure that we inculcate discipline in everyone. Inside the school, within around our community.
Well, do you think that there's, for want of words, the word degeneration in the family system? Do you think that's playing a part in the lack of discipline that we witness on the part of our children, or is it overexposure to gadgets since we are turning digital?
Digital, okay.
Okay, thank you. I think both are the reason for the indiscipline or discipline we are talking about today. Because in most families, you find out that there's a case I heard the other time. The parent came to school with a cane to flog a teacher because his child was disciplined by the teacher. So when it comes to that, a parent like that, what do you expect from his child or children? If he can come to school with the child and also with a cane to flog, to discipline her child's teacher. And most times we find out that our parents discuss their teachers at home in front of their children. Then that will make the child come to the classroom. When the teacher is talking, he or she will not be paying attention. So I think the discipline we are talking about has to start from home, has to start from the parents. It's very important that every school should once in a while call a meeting, a gathering for parents. Then they will bring a facilitator that will enlighten them more. Because most times it's not about that I'm a professor, I am a doctor, I am this, I am that. Discipline. I don't think there's a course that will change a man or woman, if not a well proper, as in inculcates the discipline into the person.
All right.
And the discipline must come from you. Discipline must
It starts with you.
It
starts with you.
Okay. All right.
As a teacher, it must start with me because I don't give out what I don't have.
All right. But talking about discipline now, seeing there has to be discipline from the home front to make the job easier. Now, given that a parent flogging a teacher is very awful, I should be frowned at. But how do you discipline teachers when they cross their boundary as well?
Yes, I don't take it lightly in my school because I love discipline. And when you are disciplined, your lifestyle will be totally different. So in my school, I want my teachers to be disciplined because if you are not disciplined enough, first of all, you must give me your duty as a teacher. I will give it to you as a task.
Your roles and responsibilities.
Yes, to give it back to me, your role, your duty as a teacher. Then the feedback, discipline must be there. So I do normally have meetings with them. I do normally have talks, seminars with them. I do normally have gatherings with them, talking on to them because there are some teachers, some teachers are not disciplined. Let me just use this word. But it is our duty as the head, as an administrator, as the owner of the school, to make sure, because when you have such teachers in your school, things will not work out well with you. And that's where they might start having issues with some parents, because some teachers will carry those indisciplinary acts from their home. But I normally tell them, whatever you are carrying from your home, once you are reaching at the gate of Citadel School, drop it there.
Okay.
If you are coming into Citadel as a normal person. have that passion, because without that passion, you can be able, the ones you are coming in to mentor, they are little children that needs that education.
All right.
Thank you.
Let me deviate a little bit, but still on moral and discipline. I don't know if you've heard the story that broke recently, where an SS2 student was being disciplined, and then in the process, blood started gushing out. And when, upon inspection, discovered it was a contraceptive. When asked further, they discovered that virtually almost all the girls in that class are already putting on contraceptive. How do we check things like this?
Okay, I heard it. I even saw the story on the media. I heard it and I saw it on social media because it's trended. Do you understand? It's very, it's not good. But in a situation like that, I believe that schools should try to map out some strategies they use to carry out their disciplinary acts. Like in my school, normally, sometimes I will use what I used to call on-a-stamp check. On-a-stamp check.
What do you mean by that?
Yes. What I mean by on-a-stamp check, that you can come in for search without notice, without informing them. You will just carry out a disciplinary act.
So when the students know that you come in,
because when they know, like, you dare not try to come to school with phone.
Okay.
But if you make it that on Mondays is for searching, on Wednesdays is for searching, you can't get anything. You can't get anything. Because I believe that it is the disciplinary act of that school, or something must have prompts for the school to see that the contraceptives, because it's open. The thing started coming up.
Yes.
It's just like a stride. It's open. I think something must have, maybe the whole thing started giving out illness or...
That one, I think because of discipline. And maybe they had to hit the place.
Yes, yes. No, it's if there is no pain or no injury, the teacher will not say it. But I still want to believe that it is on that disciplinary act that the whole thing came up. So, but if you devise this means, like, barging into them once in a while, bringing out the girls, bringing out the boys, apart from all those checks, try to bring in moral instruction, because it's going to help them. In this world today, most of these teenagers, they believe that flog me. Just flog me now. Some will wear double. Some we experience those things. I'm in the school system. My school is almost 20 years. We experience that. They will put on 3, heavy underwear. No, not even underwear. Some put on trouser, but they will put on trouser inside, like flog me, highest flog me. But I come to understand that everything is not punishment. At times you bring them closer, you counsel.
Yes.
Counsel them. There is this counseling that you will do. A child will come closer to you to tell you stories that you might hear. You will hear the stories and you will know that the foundation of the whole thing originated from home. Then you will start there to work as a disciplinarian. Your work starts there. You go back to the foundation to tackle it. How can you tell me that in a whole school, virtually all the ladies, they are having that contraceptives?
Yes.
But if a moral talk and proper guidance and counseling are being done, some of them we know that is not a good thing. That even if they might be thinking he has an advantage, there is a serious disadvantage behind everything.
All right.
Thank you so much.
I think let me contribute a little. When it comes to that guidance and counseling, I want to seize this opportunity to tell those ones in charge of that guidance and counseling to always uphold the learner's secrets. These are not something that you have to discuss with anyone. I love the way our school are doing our own. The way we do is very confidential. No one will know about it. But if you make it to be exposed, maybe you discuss it with another teacher, before you know it, it will get to the child.
Those learners
They will
not
never come back
to
to you. And things will go.
Are you advising the government to equally inculcate the counselor guardian?
Yes.
It's very,
in every
very
school.
vital. It's very, very important.
Right.
In every school, both government, private school,
even primary school.
Even primary school.
There are other issues I would want to raise on how government policies and all that is affecting you, like we did discuss before. But for once of time, I want to ask, given the unique environment that we're in, security challenges and all that, how do you handle the issue of security?
Security is very, very vital in everything we are doing. How we handle it, we are in cooperation with a security firm. Okay. We are in cooperation with them once in a while. I have personally in my school, I have a security company that guards that school. Then once in a while we organize lectures for them. And again, the security firm comes in to train my teachers to be alert, to be very, very alert. Because the world now is...
We also have CCTV cameras.
Yes, and again, my environment, my school is being surrounded with CCTV cameras.
Yes.
To an extent that down into the classroom.
And toilets. Too.
And toilets. Everywhere.
But government schools, they may not or cannot afford such measures. What do you
They can. I believe government, since private can do it, government can do it and do it more better.
All right. There is deviating a bit, but very inclusive to why our viewers want this program. Recently, Aneke released information on voter registration. You discover that southeastern Nigeria, and especially Enugu, is behind registration. When examined further, it's seen that the people in these parts of the country don't really care about their civic responsibility. Now, the question is there a way you are inculcating civic awareness into our kids so that they would not be like our fathers who on the day of election, that's the day they will remember that they will put fuel in their generator. That's the day you see them remember that, they played ball when they were younger. They want to go and play ball. So is there a program where you specialize on teaching these children their responsibility, their civic responsibility, why they have to participate in elections, what is required of them?
So that you have a subject.
Okay, when it comes to our college, there's something they do. They call it student parliament.
Students
parliament.
Yes. Parliament.
During this time, they execute the responsibilities of every child the way it should be. They are the one enlightening themselves. So, and in our school, we also believe in orientation. We continue with that. So the information we are giving you now, or the message we are passing through, we are passing to our viewers now, is for them to do what? To follow suit. Create an avenue to enlighten your children, enlighten the learners about this civic rights. We do it in our school. In fact, when it comes to our school now, like my own child, 18 years, she has a voter's card already. She was even the one telling me that after the previous parliament, they were urged to go and get their voter's card. She has gotten her own already.
All right. Having said that, remember, go out, register. It's your civic responsibility to participate. Take your time, register, get your voter's card, participate. It's your power to choose your leaders. You've heard from her. And this is where we'll draw the curtain today on this topic on insight, until we'll come your way next time. And we'll be speaking to Lady Dr. Patrice Aneke, Director of Proprietors of Citadel Group of Schools, and Eze Chinasa, admin of Citadel Group of Schools, Enugu. But remember, at Insight, your voice matters. Let us know what you think about this discussion, the topics, and everything, or suggestions on what should be done. Reach us at Aneke TV on our social media handles at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. I still remain your host, Uche Osai, till we come your way same time next week. Thank you.
The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land. The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land. is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land. The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land. The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land. The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news across the country on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. EFCC declares Sujimoto CEO wanted. WAEC mandates 250 computer and CCTV as condition for participating schools. Abia State government dismisses 6 officials for salary pending. Aneke releases total number of registered voters in Anambra State ahead of election. Now the news in details. The Economic Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, has declared Olasi Jibomi Ogundare, a chief executive officer of Sujimoto Luxury Construction Limited, wanted for allegations of diversion of funds and money laundering. The anti-graft agency made the declaration in a notice by its spokesperson, Mr. Dele Oyewale. Mr. Ogundele, a Lagos-based businessman, heads Sujimoto, a real estate company known for high-end luxury developments. The EFCC urged members of the public with useful information on his whereabouts to contact any of its offices nationwide or the nearest police station. Now over to education. The West African Examination Council has outlined key facilities schools must provide ahead of the full migration of the West African Senior School Certificate examination to computer-based testing by 2026. Head of Examinations, WAEC, Mr. Lucky Njagwani, disclosed this on Thursday during a sensitization program in Port Harcourt. According to him, schools must put in place a minimum of 250 functional laptops with 10% backups, a robust computer server capable of supporting 250 systems simultaneously, and a local area network setup. Other mandatory requirements include functional air conditioners and lighting, uninterrupted electricity supply, a backup generator with at least 40 kVA capacity, CCTV cameras, and a holding room or reception facility for candidates. Njogwani noted that the move to CBT would cut logistic costs, improve exam security, and widen accessibility. Now over to electoral matters. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, yesterday said the number of associations seeking registration as political parties has risen to 171. INEC, in a statement by its National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Sam Olumekun, said the updated list has been published on the Commission's website and other official platforms. He added that a review committee set up by the Commission had completed its assessment of the applications and submitted recommendations for final consideration. The Commission urged applicants to be patient and avoid practices that could delay their approval. He, however, assured applicants of transparency and fairness. Under the Constitution of the Electoral Act 2022, INEC registers political parties that meet strict requirements, including having a national headquarters in Abuja, a district name and logo, evidence of nationwide membership, and a constitution and manifesto consistent with democratic principles. In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has provided an update on the final registration of voters for Anambra governorship election. The Commission gave the update on Thursday after its weekly meeting. A statement made available to reporters after the meeting said that there were deliberations on the final register of voters for the governorship election. It said voter registration had been completed in the 326 wards on 20th July 2025. According to the electoral umpire, 168,100 citizens. The Commission said it has already displayed the list of new registrants in all the wards for claims and objections as stipulated in the Electoral Act 2022. Still talking election, the Enugu State Independent Electoral Commission, NSEC, has released the timetable for local government election into 17 chairmanship and 260 councillorship positions in the state. The executive chairman of NSEC, Professor Christian Ngu, while releasing the timetable in Enugu, said that the local government election had been scheduled to hold on September 26, 2026. Professor Ngu noted that the timetable, which would be strictly followed as it had been officially gazetted by the state government, had commenced with publication of notice of election by NSEC on August 20, 2025. The Commission also set from November 27, 2025 to December 12, 2025 for political parties to submit information on the conduct of party primaries, specifying the time, venue, and date. The timetable noted that from January 23, 2026 to February 19, 2026, party primaries will be held, including the resolution of disputes arising from the primaries and the observation of the process by NSEC. It further disclosed that from March 25 to March 27, 2026, there will be screening of chairmanship candidates' credentials at the NSEC headquarters. It said that the last day for submission of nomination forms NSEC 7 and NSEC 7A for chairmanship and councillorship elections respectively by political parties in accordance with Electoral Act 2022 would not be later than 180 days before the election. The news across the country is coming to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can follow us on all our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, and here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Now a quick look at major developments in the news. EFCC declares Sujimoto CEO wanted. WAEC mandates 250 computers and CCTV as condition for participating schools. And coming up shortly, Abia State government dismisses 6 officials for salary pardon. INEC releases number of registered voters in Anambra State ahead of governorship election. We'll be right back after the break. We now bring you stories from Nigeria. Abia State government has approved the dismissal of 6 staff of the Ministry of Justice following their indictment in a salary pardon scheme uncovered during an internal audit and administrative inquiry. According to the state government, they were found to have engaged in the manipulation of payroll systems, resulting in the unlawful receipt of excess salaries over a sustained period. This was signed by Enojeri Eze, the chairman, Abia State Civil Service Commission. Abia government explained that the disciplinary action followed a detailed investigation by the Abia State Civil Service Commission, which independently interrogated the officers, reviewed relevant financial records, and confirmed that they knowingly benefited from irregular salary payments to the detriment of the state. The statement, which said that the indictment and dismissed officers would be handed over to appropriate law enforcement officers for prosecution, urged all civil servants and other stakeholders to maintain integrity and report suspected irregularities. Additionally, Governor Alex Oti has directed that the activities of some members of the Salary Committee be subjected to a separate probe to ensure full accountability. In the meantime, the Kaduna State Police Command has invited former governor of the state, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, and 7 members of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, for questioning over alleged criminal conspiracy, incitement of public disturbance, mischief, and causing grievous hurt. A police letter dated September 4, 2025, and signed by the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, Uzainu Abdullahi, directed the ADC State Chairman to produce El-Rufai and the orders of the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, on September 8. Meanwhile, former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai has accused the State Commissioner of Police of violating the Constitution. Malam El-Rufai said the summons sent to him was dangerous descent into lawlessness by the State Police Command. Now moving over to Yobe State, where government has planned to establish 4 remand homes in some local government areas of the state to reduce overcrowding in the existing custodial and correctional centers. The State Commissioner for Sports, Social and Community Development, Mr. Bama Shatima, who stated this, also said that the 4 additional remand homes and custodial center for child suspects who are awaiting trial will be established in Damaturu, Unguru, Gashua, and Gedam towns. He noted that the Potiskum remand home was the only functional home in the state, as the one in Unguru and Gashua were dilapidated. He added that the proposed remand homes would offer inmates access to education, vocational training, and other resources to help become productive citizens upon release. Now over to business news. Nigeria and China have pledged to deepen cooperation in the marine and blue economy sector, focusing on boosting port development and opening new markets for Nigerian aquaculture exports. This commitment was made during a meeting between the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Mr. Adeboyega Oyetola, and the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Yun Duhai, at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja. Mr. Oyetola highlighted Nigeria's vast maritime endowments, including its 853 kilometers of coastline along the Atlantic Ocean and over 10,000 kilometers of inland waterways. He emphasized that Nigeria's maritime domain holds immense potential for shipping, port operations, fisheries, renewable ocean energy, marine tourism, and coastal infrastructure development. Also in business, the federal government has made tax identification ID compulsory for people getting involved in banking and allied services in the country. Consequently, all taxable Nigerians are to obtain a taxpayer identification when the new tax act comes into force in January 2026. The tax ID is contained in the provision of the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025, Part 2, Section 4 of the legislation, which was recently signed by President Bola Tinubu. The Act, however, provides an allowance to suspend or deregister the tax ID if the holder ceases to undertake trade or business, either temporarily or permanently. Still talking business, the Naira recorded its highest single-day gain against the dollar at the official foreign exchange market yesterday. Exchange data from the Central Bank of Nigeria show that it appreciated significantly to 1,514.87 naira on Thursday, up from 1,521.46 naira traded on Wednesday. This means that the naira strengthened by 6.59 naira against the dollar on a day-to-day basis to end the official trading week. According to reports, yesterday's gain is the highest uptrend of the countries in the last 3 days this week. Meanwhile, at the black market, the naira dropped to 1,539 naira per dollar, down from 1,533 naira traded the previous day. Accordingly, analysis of both foreign exchange markets indicated that the most populous country in Africa's currency recorded mixed sentiments in the week under review. Now moving over to sports. Team Ekiti continued its impressive run at the ongoing National Youth Games in Asaba, Delta State on Thursday, claiming gold in male basketball. Team Ekiti edged past Team Lagos 19-18 in a three-league basketball final. Both teams showcased determination, skill and composure, but the Ekiti squad demonstrated greater resilience to secure the gold in a closely contested match. Reacting to the victory, State basketball coach Adetayo Awanjiri expressed pride in the players' performance. Still on sports, Lionel Messi scored twice for Argentina in emotional scenes in Buenos Aires on Thursday, while Uruguay, Colombia and Paraguay joined the reigning champions at next year's World Cup. With Argentina having already long booked their place at the tournament in North America, Messi struck in the 39th and 80th minutes in a 3-0 home win over Venezuela. Messi, who has won the Ballon d'Or 8 times, sparked in front of an adoring crowd of 80,000 at the Mas Monumental Stadium in his late home qualifier for his country. The Argentine legend will turn 39 during next year's World Cup, but despite his advanced years, he looks set to play another pivotal role as Lionel Scaloni's side defends their crown. Now over to entertainment. Famous Nigerian songstress Tiwa Savage has made a case for Tems after her name was excluded from Afrobeat's top 3 artists. The term Big 3 is widely used to refer to the male trio Davido, Burna Boy and Wizkid, who are celebrated as Nigeria's most dominant global musical exports. However, questioning the criteria used in selecting the Big 3 in the industry, Tiwa argued that the narrative turns a blind eye to the astounding achievements of leading women in the Afrobeat genre. Speaking in an interview with BBC Radio 1 Extra, she challenged the exclusionary labeling of female singers and insisted that Tems deserves top-tier recognition. To end the news round the globe, here are the main points. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, has declared Olasiji Bomi Ogundele, Chief Executive Officer of Sujimoto Luxury Construction Limited, wanted over allegations of diversion of funds and money laundering. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has outlined key facilities schools must provide ahead of the full migration of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination to computer-based testing by 2026. We also told you that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has provided an update on the final registration of voters for Anambra governorship election. That ends the news. For breaking news eyewitness reports, please call 070-3043-7110. I'm Deborah. Thank you for joining us.